A thin, desperate cry cut through the wind, so small it almost disappeared into the open land. And somewhere between fear and instinct, a creature made a choice that did not belong to its kind. Because on the edge of that cliff, kindness became stronger than survival. A zebra was grazing near the cliff, moving slowly, carefully, its ears constantly scanning for danger, its body ready to run at the slightest wrong signal, because out here, survival depended on reaction, not emotion, and every second of distraction could be the last. It heard the sound again, turned its head, and stepped closer to the edge, each step cautious, each movement controlled, its hooves testing the ground before committing weight. When it finally looked down, it saw a lion cub clinging just below the rocky ledge, its small body pressed against loose stone, its claws scraping again and again as bits of rock broke off and fell into the deep valley below, the distance enough to kill instantly. The cub was exhausted, its breathing uneven, its movements weaker with each passing second, its hind legs slipping more often than holding, and it was clear that it had already been struggling for a long time before being seen. One more slip, one small failure of strength, and it would fall. The zebra froze completely, muscles tightening, head lifted, ears locked forward. Everything inside it reacted at once. This was a lion. Not just any animal, but a predator that would one day hunt animals like it, chase them across open ground, bring them down, end them. Helping it made no sense. Getting closer made even less sense. This was not a situation to fix. This was a situation to leave. But the cub looked up, and there was no aggression in its eyes, no threat, only fear, and something else, something that did not belong to the wild. The zebra took one step forward, then another. The ground near the edge shifted slightly under its hooves, small pebbles rolling downward, clicking against the cliff before disappearing into the silence below. The zebra stopped, adjusted its stance, and lowered its body carefully, bending its front legs slightly to reduce the angle. It stretched one leg down. The cub reacted immediately, lifting one paw toward it, claws extended, but it couldn't quite reach. Its body slipped again, its grip weakening, a small rock breaking free beneath it and falling into the void. The zebra pulled back slightly, then tried again. It moved closer to the edge, closer than it should have, its front hooves now dangerously near unstable ground, the dirt beneath cracking in thin lines. It stretched further, muscles tightening across its shoulders, neck extending, balance shifting. The cub reached again, still not enough. The zebra exhaled sharply, adjusting its position one more time, stepping its back legs forward slightly, sacrificing stability for reach. The ground gave a small crack, a warning. The cub slipped again, this time lower. Its body dropped suddenly, claws scraping wildly, barely catching a new edge, but weaker now, less secure. There was no more time. The zebra lunged forward, pushing past hesitation completely, its front half dropping lower than before as it extended its leg down and hooked it firmly against the cub's side. The sudden movement caused a cascade of loose rock to break free, sliding down past them. The zebra's back hooves losing traction for a split second, its body tilting dangerously toward the edge. For a brief moment, both of them were on the verge of falling. But the zebra shifted its weight backward just enough, digging its hooves into the dirt, muscles straining, legs shaking under the pressure as it pulled. The cub's body dragged against the rock, scraping upward, its claws no longer able to assist, fully dependent now on the force pulling it. The zebra pulled again, harder. The ground beneath it cracked further, but held. With one final effort, it dragged the cub up over the edge and onto solid ground. Both of them collapsed immediately. The zebra lay on its side for a second, breathing hard, chest rising and falling rapidly, its legs trembling from the strain. The cub lay still, completely motionless, dust covering its small body. Then, slowly, the cub inhaled, a weak breath. But enough. The zebra pushed itself up, stepping back slightly, its body still tense, as if expecting the situation to correct itself, as if expecting the cub to suddenly become what it was supposed to be. But it didn't. The cub tried to stand and failed immediately, its legs too weak, its coordination gone. It stumbled, collapsed again, and let out a small sound that carried none of the power its kind was known for. The zebra did not leave immediately. It took a few slow steps back, keeping distance, its muscles still tight, its ears flicking sharply at every small movement the cub made. The space between them was thin, uncertain, fragile. The cub shifted slightly, letting out a weak sound, and for a brief second, the zebra stepped back further, its body reacting instantly, ready to run, because now that the danger of the fall was gone, a different kind of danger remained. The zebra circled slightly, not turning its back completely, watching the cub from a safer angle. It lowered its head just a little, sniffing the air, trying to understand what stood in front of it. The cub did not move toward it. It didn't chase. It didn't show teeth. It just stayed there, breathing. And that was what changed everything. Not strength, not instinct, but the absence of threat. The zebra watched. Then it turned and began to walk away. Not fast, not far. After a few seconds, it heard movement behind it. The cub followed. It struggled with every step, stopping often, sometimes falling completely, sometimes just standing still, unable to continue. Each time, the zebra kept moving forward, but slower, adjusting without fully acknowledging it, stopping more frequently, allowing distance to remain small. By the time the sun began to lower, the cub was still behind it. At night, when the temperature dropped and the wind became colder, the cub moved closer, pressing its small body near the zebra's legs. It wasn't instinct. It wasn't learned behavior. It was simple survival. The zebra didn't move away. It stood still, allowing it. That pattern continued. Days passed, and the cub followed everywhere, across dry ground, through tall grass, toward water sources, always staying close. It watched constantly, observing movement, trying to understand patterns. At one point, it lowered its head and tried to eat grass, chewing awkwardly before stopping, clearly confused. It pawed at the ground once, then looked back at the zebra as if expecting something. The zebra didn't respond. It simply continued moving. Weeks passed, and the cub grew stronger. Its steps became stable, its movements faster, its reactions sharper. It began to chase small movements, pounce at insects, react to sound differently. It no longer followed as closely as before. Sometimes it would stop midway, distracted by movement in the grass, lowering its body instinctively, watching in a way that was no longer playful. Its instincts were returning. The zebra noticed immediately. It became more aware of distance, more careful with positioning, but it didn't leave. It stayed. Until one morning when everything changed. The air was still, quiet, heavy. The young lion stood facing the open plains, its body still, its focus forward. The zebra grazed behind it, then stopped, sensing the difference. For the first time, the lion didn't follow. It took a step forward, then another. The zebra lifted its head. The lion turned slightly, just enough to acknowledge, then continued walking, moving steadily into the tall grass. It didn't stop. It didn't return. The zebra watched until it disappeared. Then it lowered its head and continued grazing. Time passed. Seasons shifted. The land changed, as it always did. The lion grew into a full adult, strong, controlled, efficient. It hunted, adapted, survived, becoming what it was meant to be. But sometimes, it paused, not for danger, but for something it couldn't explain. 3 years later, the zebra was older, slower, but still alert. It grazed alone near a dry, rocky area. A leopard was watching, low, silent, patient, waiting for the right moment. Then it attacked. The zebra ran immediately, pushing forward with everything it had, but the leopard closed the distance quickly, its movements precise, calculated. It lunged again, closer. Then a roar cut through the air. The leopard stopped. From the distance, a lion charged in at full speed, closing the gap rapidly before slamming into the leopard with full force. The fight was immediate, fast, aggressive. The leopard tried to fight back, but the lion had the advantage, stronger, heavier, more determined. Within seconds, the leopard retreated. The dust settled. The zebra stood still, breathing heavily. The lion turned toward it. For a moment, neither moved. Then the lion walked closer, slowly, without aggression, stopping at a short distance. The zebra looked at it. There was recognition, not from appearance, but from something deeper. The lion lowered its head slightly, stayed long enough to make sure the zebra was steady, then turned and walked away. Because what had been given once had now been returned. This was not just a wild animal acting on instinct. This was a memory. This was a choice carried across time. And it proves something simple but powerful. Even in the wild, even in a world built on survival, what you do matters. And sometimes it comes back when you least expect it.
This was a fictional story, but the message within it carries a real heartbeat. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video and subscribe to One for More stories about courage and loyalty.